This conference will now be recorded.
All right, well, we'll call to order the Monterey Select Board on October 28th at 6:02 PM. We have all three members of the board present here in Town Hall. And our very first order of business is the tax rate classification hearing, so we're joined by two members of the Board of Assessors. Thank you, Gary and Scott. Do you want to explain the choice that we have, or the lack
We
of?
don't have that choice. Do you mind shutting up at the table because our camera, our owl was busted, so you can't see it, if you wouldn't mind that.
Yeah. We don't have a choice for the tax rate, because in order to have a tax rate for business, you have to have 20% of your property in that category, and we don't. So there'll be one tax rate for the town, as it's always been.
Unless we make a new and improved business.
Yeah.
Thing and fill it with businesses.
Is Amanda here?
She just came in.
Oh, right.
So we just have to vote on having one tax rate for the town. Any questions? Any questions from the public on that item? The town's gonna have one tax rate. It's basically our only choice. Ibon.
What do we have now?
One
Tax rate. We don't really have a choice. Basically, you have to have 20% of your land commercial in order to have a separate business rate, which we've never had and likely won't have, so.
Different rate around the lake, a different assessment.
That's
Still residential.
still residential.
That's a complicated question. Go talk to Don Clausen when you have time.
How many times?
But it's one tax rate. It's different assessment methods.
Yeah.
Okay, so one tax rate, different assessment.
Yeah.
You know that? Breaking news.
It's not news.
Yeah.
It's every year.
All right,
I've
well,
learned this several years.
is there a motion to agree to one tax rate?
Make a motion that we have one tax rate.
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? We'll call a vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that carries unanimously.
Thank you for coming, gentlemen.
My pleasure.
Have a cool evening.
You're the head.
I guess Amanda's all set, right?
Yeah.
You're here.
See you tomorrow.
See you
Ciao.
tomorrow.
I thought it was gonna be a big deal. I can't hire.
Probably since we.
I have
Rod,
a question from you.
yeah, Tom Mency.
Tom Mency from Sylvan Road. How are the different assessments determined?
That's not our purview. It's under the purview of the Board of Assessors and the Principal Assessor. So they have a binder full of all of the different factors that determine the assessment. But like I said, it's not our purview. But you probably know a lot of the things that weigh into it. So acreage, lakefront, what district the property is within the town, and then the house itself, what condition it's in, how many rooms, square footage.
Extra
I think that
buildings,
information's
pools.
online too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Formula.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Can you give us an update about the beavers and the dam and the drawdown?
So, there's a couple things going on. One is at the, I don't think we're gonna be able to shut that, Susan,
Why not?
because it's supposed to be open.
It would be nice to be able
Well,
to hear you though.
we can ask Bonner to move, or we can
Well, it's
shut it
not
with
locked.
with the understanding that it can.
It's not locked.
Just wanna make sure, that's all.
There's no lock.
No, I understand what you're saying, which is valid. We can't have a closed door meeting.
It's just a closed door meeting. It's not a closed door meeting.
So, oh, there's,
Bonner, would you please prop that?
What, prop the door open?
Drop it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I got it.
It's good. It should hold.
Thank you.
That's just.
So at Lake Garfield, the issue was at the dam where.
Well, this is beavers, this is why I came.
Beavers it is, yes it is. So Lake Garfield at the dam, there is the catchment, the spillway. And so the beavers had actually, on the spillway, there's a wall inside, and the beavers had piled up about 4 to 5 inches of accumulated debris, mud, sticks, whatever they pile up in there. And so what was happening is the lake was filling up. And so it's about 4 or 5 inches, between 4 and 5 inches higher than where it's supposed to be. And it's supposed to be right at the level of that spillway where the concrete wall is for the spill that drops down in the spillway. So because of that, there was a concern from citizens and from the select board. And so I called one of the options we have is through the Board of Health. And the Board of Health has multiple options when it comes to beaver. And when they declare an emergency and safety in this case, because we didn't want to have the same thing happen a month or so ago where there was the beaver had done the same thing. They accumulated debris. The highway guys had gone in there to clean it out. And unfortunately, that caused an issue downstream, which flooded a project that was happening in New Marlboro. I didn't want to do that. So I called the Board of Health and had a emergency, safety emergency declared, which requires the Conservation Commission to effectively agree to remove the beaver dam. And I'm using quotes because they were vandals, and they basically vandalized our structure. And we had to wait for yesterday. I had to wait for the Conservation Commission to come in and say yes, you can remove that debris. But it requires us to actually open the gate and let the water out, because we're letting the water go out per order of the conditions from the Conservation Commission, 1 inch a day. So we'll drop that water down over the next 4 or 5 days until it gets down to a point where we can clean off the debris that is on the top. And then effectively at that point, we'll be in the drawdown period. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of rolling one into the other. So right now we're lowering the lake to do maintenance on the
normal pool.
To normal pool, to do maintenance on the spillway, so we can clean off all that dirt. But that is actually going to end after November 1st, which is when the drawdown is supposed to happen. And so currently we are waiting to hear back from Mass DEP on the amendment to the drawdown. So at this point in time, we're sitting at a 3-foot drawdown, waiting for the amendment to happen to hear back from Mass DEP, where it will be a 6-foot drawdown. So at that point, then we'll start the 6-foot drawdown. If we get the amendment, we would start the 6-foot drawdown at that point, which for us is going to be Tuesday, is when we would effectively start the drawdown at, according to the orders of conditions, 3 inches a day. So right now we're dropping it 1 inch a day. So that's what's happening at Garfield right now.
I have a question. Did all the paperwork, there must have been 20 emails about the paperwork, did all the paperwork get to the
yesterday and today, the Conservation Commission and other members of Lake Garfield Lake Garfield Committee, they worked on the paperwork this morning. They finalized that, and I took it over to I took the packet over to the post office and sent it certified mail. Okay. So that's one of the 2 options you have. You can either upload it electronically, but that didn't happen, so I just certified mailed it. Mm-hmm. So
where does that go?
It goes to Springfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion. I know that the planning board has co-chairs. My concern is that it seems to me like part of the problem with not so much the emergency request, but the process with the Concom has revolved around the fact that the chair, which has a bunch of responsibilities, but not extra power actually, has a lot of responsibility, and she has another job, and we don't have a deep bench. Basically, we've been operating under, she knows what all the requirements are. Shane is new and is learning. And there really hasn't been anyone else on the commission that was fully conversant all the forms and requirements of applications and paperwork. And that, we've talked about needing deeper benches across the board, but we now have 7 people. So it seems to me the ideal time to either have a co-chair or even 3 people maybe, who could, 2 of whom could now be trained up on how a complete submission works. Maybe if we could take some of the work off of Shane, we wouldn't have to be talking about increasing the budget to pay him for even more hours, which is on the table as a discussion. We even talked about, I think, talking about sharing, bringing on a person full-time as a arrangement with other towns. But if we have qualified, willing people on the commission that are willing to take on some of that miserable paperwork, my husband threw himself under that bus.
You shouldn't have said that in public.
Yeah, I didn't do it. He volunteered.
But I think, yes, we do, you can look at the emails and you can see the confusion and the lack of understanding or knowledge of the process. The agent, is it well defined what the agent can do? Because we're dependent
Yes,
on.
there's a job description. Yeah.
Okay, so we're dependent on volunteers to do it. And, one thing my observation is, if you were a Concom committee member and you saw what happened in the last 6 weeks, that would scare away people from volunteering from anything. That's my opinion, okay? And we need to regroup with the chair and say, we need to take a time out, not in a punitive way, but in a way that says, what can we learn from this experience? Like you said, there needs to be a co-chair. There needs to be, minutes put out on it. In my opinion, the meeting should be a Zoom meeting because so many people that are lakefront owners don't live in the town year round. And it's an important issue to them.
Yeah.
And, I'm willing to talk to Noel about it, not in a punitive way, but I just think it's an experience. We need to stop and take a time out and say, how can we do this better? What do we need to do? My personal opinion, I need to learn more about what the agent does because it's a lot of paperwork. And, if you're a full-time person working, but you belong to the Concom, and you got to take time out to fill out this extensive paperwork, I'm not sure that's fair for volunteer.
I don't think having volunteers do the agent's job is the long-term solution. I think we should up the agent's hours as needed.
Have there always been agents?
No. Agents are new. However, I think we're seeing it across our boards and committees as a whole. People do not have the time and energy, or for whatever the reason may be, we are now, I think it's just a change in the culture. We're paying people to do what volunteers once did. I think in some ways it's more complicated.
I think it's more complicated.
And the rules are complex. But I don't think it's sustainable. I think we've seen it in other boards and committees. I think it's much more sustainable to pay a professional to take care of the technical side of things and still empower the commission to make rulings as they do. But I think any difficulty we're seeing now about an agent not fulfilling their responsibilities is either because of training or not enough hours, etc. And I think that's what needs to result and have the agent take care. And there's a job description approved on the town website about the agent. And it very clearly would encompass what ended up being what volunteers did. And we could talk a lot about that and investigate why that happened in the situation. But I think moving forward,
I still think having then one person who
Oh, I
knows
think-
what that checklist is, so they can make sure that if something has to get done, all the, even if the agent is tasked with, assuming the agent has the hours to do it, and we can pay the agent for those hours, more than one person should know what the checklist of things that need to be done is, even to double check and make sure all the I's are dotted. And having other members of the Concom able to do that would seem to be smart, making sure that all members of the Concom are getting all of the documents that are submitted in enough advance of a meeting so that they can have read them to make an informed decision and not be trying to be Johnny on the spot would also be good.
I think also this is a conversation that at the end of the day, it's a good conversation and one that the commission needs to have and figure out how they want to address these issues as a commission themselves. So we can communicate as much to them. Are there any other questions about the Lake Garfield dam or beavers? Do you have a question about the beavers?
Yeah, someone alerted me about concerns about beavers up on Fairview and Lake Garfield.
Yeah.
And,
So the issue with, we just spoke about the Lake Garfield is just a maintenance one at the spillway right there. So that's just a maintenance one. The one on Fairview is a little bit more of an issue. So there are beavers that within less probably 80 feet from the road or so actually created
80 feet?
Yep. Right
That's a
there.
long way.
Right there. But what's happening is it's created a pond and it's backed up into the culvert. And so the issue is backing up into the culvert. Because if we have a freeze, the ice will do what ice does, and it moves and expands. It'll actually end up moving the culvert, and it could damage the road, and damage the culvert as well. And so they actually have built not only that dam, but they built a smaller dam a little bit below, and the person who owns the next property over, well, 2 properties over, there's a pond down there that they've had for years, and it's actually drying up because the beaver dam and has limited the water that goes down through there, and it's not filling that pond anymore. So she's spoken to the people, the beavers on that property. She's spoken to them about that. So it is a concern in the fact that the beaver are, it's probably not even, it's probably that was the culvert, the dam is like over by those filing cabinets. And so it's pretty close to the road, and that's the concern. And so we may have to do something.
Back against that part when it's this dry, kind of good at flood.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been quite I've been watching it for quite a while now, and it's ebbed and flowed. It actually at one point in time was cutting a path across the neighbor's property, 2 neighbors' property. They diverted it into the water was actually running across 2 neighbors' property into that pond. But then they did what they did, and they sort of wrapped the dam around and blocked that, so it's limited the water as it flows down the brook. And so, one of the issues is that I don't know. I mean, I've looked up. Lots of people have sent me things about beaver deceivers and ways to do it, but when the beaver aren't there, it's actually a perched culvert. So it hangs, or a hanging culvert. So when the water normally comes out, it's like 6 to 8 inches above where the brook is. So the danger isn't in this case that the beaver are going to flood the road, because they're never going to build the dam, 4 feet high at that point.
Why not?
I guess they could if they wanted
Yeah,
to.
no, I think
There's a way that they could, theoretically they could, but right now the issue is that they're just backing up into the culvert. Last time I looked, it was about 2/3 of the way up the culvert. So,
well, I think that with the beaver deceiver question, usually that can be used at a specific inlet or outlet, right? Not downstream when they're just when they're making a new pond.
Right.
That's going to include our road.
Well,
that would mean that the beaver deceiver would have to be installed downstream from the road.
Except the beaver
Wherever the
deceiver
dam is.
that won't work. So do you know how the beaver deceiver works?
I do. I've built one.
Right. I don't see how, if they're damming a large space and not a culvert, right?
It doesn't have to be a culvert. It's a level controller for the pond in general. It can be installed in any beaver dam, wherever it is. And if the beaver dam is way downslope from the road, that's where you put it. And it won't allow the beavers will not be able to raise the water level up to where it gets up and backs up back to the road.
I'll tell you what, let's meet there tomorrow. I'll meet you there tomorrow. You go tomorrow?
I was up there today, but,
I've looked at the beaver deceivers. I'm struggling to see how we would get it to work there.
well, it might not. I mean, and I
That's-
understand that the agent who has been hired to help out the Conservation Commission is of the opinion that there's no place for a beaver deceiver there. But I want to say this about beavers, which is you can trap them and kill them and more will come.
Oh, I
And it's
understand.
not a solution.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard to tell what'll happen in this situation because I don't know how they found this. They just found this book
well,
on the side of
because
the road.
what, you know,
Yeah.
in a beaver habitat, wherever it is, there's a, you know, next generation coming along and they get driven out.
Yeah.
And so they go going up the brooks looking for another place to make a dam.
Yeah.
And there they will do that. And if it's in your way, you're gonna have to wonder, how do I maintain this in a way that I can live with?
And I think I think there is a way through grants through the state with culverts and specifically a perched culvert, a hanging culvert, are ones that they're trying to remove. So in this situation, it might not be this year, it might not be next year, but I think there are options all over Monterey where there are these perched culverts where they can be replaced and actually allow for life, wildlife and fish and turtles and all sorts of creatures to travel through without having as much an effect on the infrastructure. And so that's something that the state is actively.
Yeah, I mean, we
working
have
on.
to take care of our roads and so forth.
Yep.
But then, I guess we'll, that's about public safety and
Mhm.
expense to the town for repairs and
Right.
so on.
And that's what I don't want to have happen. I don't want to have, leave it and not do anything and then have to do $50,000 to $100,000 worth of work on the road because the road's
Well-
all bumped and torn up and now we got to tear it out. and
There's a
replace the
history at
culvert.
Fairview with that.
Yes. Yeah.
In my lifetime in Monterey, which is like 50 years.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if it was at that specific location. I know
No, I
there's
don't
one
think
down
it
the road.
was.
I know there's another one further down Fairview, closer as you head
Well-
towards that they've had some issues with also.
I just want to speak up to say that just trapping and removing or killing, you can't trap and relocate a beaver.
You know,
It'll die wherever you take it. You might as well just kill it, be merciful to kill it.
it's actually, you're not allowed to do that
Yeah,
in Massachusetts.
and so that's not a solution, even if you were allowed to do it.
Yeah.
And so I would go look at the site, and yet my experience with the beaver deceivers is you can maintain a level,
Mhm.
and they seem like a very good solution. But if you're telling me that this site wouldn't work for that,
The ones I've seen, I think it would be difficult there. I think it would be, the beaver deceivers I've seen. The beaver deceivers that I've seen. I think it would be difficult there. But it's,
Well, so what are we doing? On Lake Garfield, we have an emergency order to draw down to normal pool.
Yep.
And then remove the debris from on top of the dam.
yes.
And then on Fairview Road, we're gonna look at options,
Mhm.
trapping, beaver deceiver.
Yep.
And then, or do no action, but I think it seems like it's coming to a point where action is
Yeah.
but
necessary.
options, you say trapping, that's killing.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. No, I understand that.
Even though you may think you're using one of the cardboard traps, or you're gonna relocate them, and they'll die.
No, I understand, and
Because
it's
it's a social situation with the beavers.
not something that I take lightly, but
No,
I
no,
think
no, I'm just saying that's what it is.
I understand the consequences of trapping and killing. I do.
Yeah, well, there's been a lot of trapping and killing going on in this country for hundreds of years.
So, it's not something I take lightly, but I think sometimes it is an option that we
Yeah, but it doesn't
pursue.
last, because beavers will move in again to the same site, wherever there's a brook.
Yeah.
Beavers will be going upstream. We've had them at our place come up from Lake Garfield up the stream and start building, because they get driven out of their home, childhood home, and they gotta go find their own new place, so they go up a brook and they start building. And if it's not anywhere near a road or a human habitation or somebody's lawn with their precious trees, it's okay. But sometimes it is in those kinds of places. And I'll tell you, you can break up the land, you can kill off the beavers, but it's not a real solution. I think the beaver deceiver is the best solution I've come across.
I just don't know enough about beaver deceivers to know if one would work there.
Well, there's ways you can find out.
All right, so
I'll-
that,
I'll
Roger
follow
will
up on it.
pursue that. Is there anything else about the dam or the beavers or Lake Garfield that we need to know about or make a decision on?
No.
Okay. Any other questions about Lake Garfield or?
Well, there's beavers in Lake Garfield down at the east end of the lake.
Yeah.
Who are welcome there.
I know.
They are in conservation protected land that's been in my family for generations. And so that's a good thing.
We'll make
There's
sure,
there's no roads.
I'll make sure to tell them that next time I see.
So
You guys
the,
go down the other end. No, they're not welcome there. There's another family of beavers already there and say, get out of here, go up a
Do
brook.
they kill each other then?
What do you what?
Do they kill each other? They try to live together?
No,
Which is my-
they don't need to kill each other to make their wishes known, unlike us.
okay, so moving on to the next item.
Closing on that note.
Transfer station, Sunday hours. The proposal, I think basically is to make the hours 10 to 5 year round on Sundays.
Yes, yep, that's what the idea is. Yep. Sat together with the transfer station committee, so it is, yeah, and talked about it, brought in all three of the people who are working there, plus volunteers, all talked about what happens there on Sundays. And that it probably is best all around to just have a consistent set of hours instead of the flip-flop that happens on those holidays, those specific holidays. Or the summer. Once for the summer and once for the fall.
So should we make it, I have a couple of thoughts about if we do generally agree that this should happen. We did already, people paid to have the year kind of that we set out. So the last month or so, we'd be shorting them a little bit. But there, if we started at January 1st, we'd also be adding more hours. And would that mess up our budget at all for this fiscal year?
I don't think it will mess up our budget
Okay.
for this fiscal year. There's actually some monies that are extra monies there.
Because Sheldon's been
Because
working at the
Sheldon's
transfer
been
station.
working at the transfer station and his pay has been coming out of highway. So there's extra monies there. Yep.
May to September, right?
Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah, but I forgot when Memorial Day was. It's the end of May, right?
Yeah.
So we would only have June in this fiscal year remaining.
Basically,
Right.
I think what I like about it is I've been confused, even being on the select board for my whole life about what the hours are on Sunday in the winter. And people ask me, when is the transfer station open until 4:30, 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think if it was always consistent 10 to 5, and we printed that up, it wouldn't be confusing on the website. We had someone confused recently on the website. It's really hard to word the transition. A couple of years ago, when we made a similar decision, instead of doing 6 months, or with the time change of changing hours, we moved to Memorial Day to Labor Day, and probably this has been a long time coming, and we should have just done it then to make it 10 to 5.
Yep.
So you're saying we should start in January and,
I think that's easy
Yeah,
to
'cause-
communicate to people.
and we think, there's also a new price structure, we're going into that anymore.
I don't think that's on tonight's agenda, what we
So-
did previously discuss it.
Right, because those could be launched together, and that, we've been, for the last year and a half, we have been talking about the increasing prices at the transfer station, the increasing costs. So I think we could do some articles and information about that to help understand how this, how the schedule helps the entire operation.
Any other questions? Should we call a vote about?
Make a motion that we change the Sunday hours from 10 to 5 year round, starting January 1st,
I will second.
2026.
Any other questions, comments, discussion? We'll call a vote.
Yes.
Yes, so that passes unanimously. You heard it here first. Sunday transfer station hours 10 to 5.
Not till January though. so-
Not till January.
So make a transfer station committee meeting.
Retired, retiree renewal rates.
So it's that time of year where the retiree renewal rates are sent out. They're different than the full-time health insurance in that the retiree health insurance is in a calendar year. So starts in January, goes through December. I don't know if you recall, but I did have some sheets here. When we did the budget, just pass these here. If you want to see them. When we did the budget, which is it's the bottom third of the sheet, we where it says fiscal year 26, fiscal July to December, that was based on that full calendar year. So the 466.76 is essentially the rate. They pay half of that. And so we had budgeted 11,202.24. The estimated increase was 20%. Our increase was only 9.5%, 9.49. So I had budgeted using that 20% increase. I had ended up with an extra, budgeting in 13,442.69 for the rest of this fiscal year. Essentially, is starting in the second half of the fiscal year, starting in January. So in total, our budget for them is sitting in our budget right now is 24,644.93, but with only 9%, with that 9.49% increase, it's going to only be $24,008.64 or somewhere around there. So we'll have like $640 is a buffet within that. So as usual, they want something signed and sent, and so that's where that is. And if you just want to sign that, I'll send that off. I'm meeting with them on Friday. I think it was Friday. I'm meeting with Maya to go over all this and more.
Some of this looks like it's not just retirees.
The top part is our normal.
Okay.
It's just the bottom third.
Do you have your annual meeting with Maya? Is that what it's?
Yeah. Friday I have the meeting on health insurance.
On health insurance, are they coming in person?
Yeah, when the Terrell is.
Are they giving lunch? Are they?
I don't know.
They used to get lunch. I think it'd be good if a board member would be able to attend if that works for you.
I'll find out the time.
Frank or
Yeah, I think I'll figure it out.
Frank's down. So Susan, if you want to go.
Wednesday?
Let me just double check.
Mike,
I'll get back in touch with you.
But when we did the general insurance policies, I used to sit on those meetings and sometimes Sean would come, like the highway superintendent and fire chief, because they often have little details but incorrect.
I see.
And then the more thorough you are about reviewing, the more accurate we can get the policies.
So one international talking about insurance.
Yes, it was. That's correct.
Well, we were going through and every meeting that we did with them, there would be,
You find something.
you find something that's not right.
So this is health insurance. So automobile insurance is a different person.
So
Yeah.
they come for a different meeting?
Yeah. So that's Cabot. Well, this is Cabot too. Yeah, it's a different person. I meet with them separately. Okay. There's like three different groups that you have to deal with.
Auto, buildings, health.
That's all sorts of stuff. So it's actually, I'm meeting her Friday at 10:30.
February. My pen died. Friday at 10 here, I'm assuming.
I go, and then I get everything.
The next item of business is appointment to the Council on Aging, Robin Wilson. So this is a 3-year appointment, but we'll have it end on June 30th of 28.
I will move we appoint Robin Wilson to the Council on Aging, starting immediately going through June of 2028.
A second.
Any other discussion on that?
June 30.
We'll call a vote,
Yes.
Yes.
and yes, that's approved. The next,
You look so worried, Bonner.
Worried?
Yes,
No,
just thinking. Okay,
life is uncertain, right?
well, this is true.
Pauline Banducci to the Lake Garfield Committee. So I really support Pauline being on the Lake Garfield Committee. I will also say that it's only slightly complicated, not because of Pauline, but because she's on the Conservation Commission.
That was my question.
And when Michael Germain was on the Lake Garfield Working Group and the Conservation Commission, we went to town council. And it's not really a conflict of interest in the way that you might think, because the problem with conflict of interest is if you have a financial interest in the matter. Pauline doesn't even live on the lake. She basically, or if she was serving 2 different masters, they call it. So if she worked for a client and the client was applying to the board, you kind of are serving 2 conflicting purposes. In this case, if you're on the Lake Garfield Committee and the Conservation Commission, you can all be working to do the same things, which is to take care of the lake. She can be knowledgeable about the lake, learn about the lake, which she's already done in the last month or 2, heavily. But it is a little bit of a trick. With Mike, they said that he could serve in both roles, but I do know that he would recuse himself on the Conservation Commission when Lake Garfield issues came up. And I would regret to see Pauline have to do the same thing, because now you take someone who's learned about the lake and now take them out of their ability to make decisions regarding the lake on the Conservation Commission. So
It seems kind of counterproductive.
it's a little bit. I think at the very least, she could be a liaison to the Conservation.
Say, what if she was ex officio or something? So she, like, I don't even know if they take votes, right?
They do from time to time. I mean, particularly when there's something such as a budget request or a NOI, or a permitting. If they talk about the pros and cons of a 3-foot drawdown versus a 6-foot drawdown versus no drawdown, they may take a vote to say, this is the one that we support.
I mean, I think I'm concerned about exactly what you're concerned about. And I think if she served on the Garfield group, either as a liaison or as a member ex officio, in other words, so she's not voting, but she's going to meetings and participating in the discussion, which I think they would be happy to have her doing. It takes that out. Because the fact that she knows what they've been talking about doesn't mean she can't be part of the Concom, right? As long as she's not, maybe she shouldn't vote with both of them. But if she only votes with the Concom, we keep her knowledge and she stays current with what's happening with the lake by participating in that, to be more fully informed without necessarily biasing her decision-making ability. In fact, I think it would inform her decision-making.
But can you ask her as a committee member not to take a vote?
So when Mike went through the same situation, he spoke with town council and maybe the state ethics commission. And, at the end of the day, everyone's responsible for enforcing their own ethics. Not to say that ethics are subjective, but to say that that is the law, that is Massachusetts law regarding the state ethics law, it actually is your individual responsibility. It's not the chair of your committee's responsibility. It's not your supervisor's responsibility. everyone takes the training and everyone is responsible for their own compliance.
Well, that would be fine with me. She may want to abstain from certain votes if she thought of something like that.
I mean, I think
But I don't
that
think we-
Mike,
I don't,
Mike felt that he didn't even want to give the appearance of it being, a conflict of interest, and I think there may have been pressure from some of the other committee members, commission members in that regard. I don't know if there was or not, but, so it just raises,
Oh, there definitely was.
I'm just trying to leave room there. So I feel like what we don't wanna do is take that person who's invested so much time in learning out of the decision-making process on the Concom. And whatever that means, I think that has to be the priority. If we think there are going to be members of the commission that are going to oppose someone sitting on both, then I think the sensible thing is to either have her as a liaison or an ex officio. I can't speak how Pauline would feel. I can tell you that if I was asked to do that, I wouldn't have any hesitation. Because I think the important part of participating in those groups is being part of the discussion. Not so much the Concom, which is quasi-judicial, but the Lake Garfield group is having conversations and being given jobs to do things to take care of the lake, right? If the person can participate in a conversation, even if they don't vote, that they're still participating in the important part of the work, I think.
So could we kind of agree that she could be a liaison to the Conservation Commission? Mickey, did you have a comment?
Because I had written right here, question mark about the conflict. But what is the reason for her wanting to be on both?
So
Where is she coming from on that?
I
She
can't,
was here.
I cannot speak for her, but I will tell you that of the members of the Conservation Commission, many of them have learned a lot about the lake in the past couple of months because the drawdown
Yeah.
was a big ordeal. And Pauline has done more than what you might expect from a volunteer in terms of reading, research, looking at studies, doing a site visit at least, and trying to learn as much as possible about the lake, because I think she feels really, and I can't speak for her, but from my point of view, she takes a lot of care and responsibility for what happens to the lake, and she wants it to be good things. So she's learned a lot about it. So that's my understanding of why she might want to be on the Lake Garfield.
I said I wish she was here to tell us what her feelings were and stuff like that. That's all.
Liaison to the Conservation Commission, postpone until next meeting or until we can get some more clarity.
I agree that we should postpone.
Okay.
But I'm-
Maybe
I'm not
ask her
hesitant
if
to-
she would be comfortable with that.
Yeah, I'm not totally comfortable with that.
With her serving on both, or?
I think serving on both, I think that, the fact that she volunteered, the fact she does her research, if she wants to be a participant, she doesn't live on the lake, she still has an interest in it. I don't want to, we need people like that. I want to give her the benefit of the doubt that she'll vote for conscience and be honest about it.
Yeah.
All right, well,
But I agree that we
we'll
could.
bring it up in the next meeting. The Lombardo Park Committee, Tom left, I thought he might be sticking to this, but we said that we would have a select board member and we need to figure out who that's gonna be. Who wants to serve on the Lombardo Park Committee?
Hey, I'll jump up at once.
Can I give up the
I'm
BRT?
not taking up another
Can I give up the BRT?
That's, Lake Fuel.
The property down on Lake Buell, Lakeside Lodge.
I've been working, I'll
Over the
take it
years.
with his time.
You see him anyway.
I see him anyway.
Okay.
Thank
you, Frank.
Go Frank.
Our next item of business is reviewing the employee handbook. I will warn people here that it's very dense, and I think it would make sense if there's any, we can move comments and questions from the public up to this point, so as to not hold anyone who has a lingering question or comment through some of this more dense stuff at the end of the agenda. But you're welcome to stay for that as well. But are there any, is anyone here for a particular reason?
Beavers.
It's already been done.
Okay, no comments or questions? Okay. Then we'll move right into the employee handbook.
See you later.
That's it.
They're in here in alphabetic order. Do we want to do them that way?
Sure. Also, I got an email from Lindsay and Katz about getting our new contract up and running because it went to junk. So, even though I had emailed her
I definitely
recently,
can get it, so yeah.
so we don't technically have a contract with them, but we're still working on it.
Did you find it?
What's that?
The lost email?
Well, I randomly sometimes go to junk email
Just check.
and just check. And so I didn't know she had ever emailed me. And I saw like 2 emails in junk, and 95% of the time they are junk. But somehow an email from her that said, when can we chat, and about having a new contract went to junk. And it was something I was kind of waiting,
Okay.
would have maybe followed up on as well.
Okay. Anyway, it wouldn't, none of this would matter for that, because in the end of the day, we still have to look at all the policies.
Yes.
Right, so,
I hear
do
you.
we wanna, I would argue that I just wanted to bring up probationary period, because we already talked about it, and I looked at it again and went back and looked at the pay time off policy. The things that are mentioned in probationary period that are of import are in fact, like the fact that you accrue annual vacation and sick leave, and the benefits are available after 90 days, but you have 1 sick leave day available for use. It is outlined also there, but I don't think it's bad to have probationary period listed as well, even though it's mentioned in the paid time off. I think it's important enough to repeat it. That's my pitch. I mean, because we looked at the policy and we debated it. I did see the benefits policy and paid time off policy for further information. And like I said, the important details are mentioned in the other one. It says the same thing in both of them.
The only thing that I don't like very much about the probationary period, it seems to indicate, right, you're gonna be in 1, 2, or 3. So maybe your performance is not 100% satisfactory, but it's not worth putting you on another probationary period and an employee improvement plan, because maybe you were like late a few times.
Right.
And after the 90 days, you start to be late, 3 times a week. And that becomes a real performance issue. But by not having, if it was maybe a couple of times during the probationary period and there was not an additional probationary period, does it indicate that it was satisfactory? I don't know if that makes any sense to you all.
In other words, you're saying if
I guess
they
what I'm
weren't really satisfactory, but they weren't so bad, you want to sack them.
No, well, there's things that you need to work on. That's what you're saying.
Not
Yeah.
every problem that's identified in the first 90 days is gonna be laid out in the
It's
employee
not,
improvement.
yeah, well, that, there may be issues or performance things that I wouldn't try to capture it in here. I'd
Yeah.
leave it separate. It's like what you said about attendance, they were late 3 times in 1 month or something. You work for the department highway, the department manager says you need to clean that up.
Yeah.
Makes a note of it, but you don't extend the probationary period. You don't want to get it. The only thing I had was on this is terminated by the hiring authority. Should be that the department manager?
No.
The
The hiring authority has to fire the employee. That's just the way it is in
It's,
our government.
Okay.
So for a lot of employees in town, it's the select board. So in some towns with town managers, Roger,
Yeah, the
the
town
town
manager
manager,
can do it because they have
fire.
more authority.
in some towns, I'm sure there are department heads or cities, department heads could just fire an employee. But in the way that our town is set up, which is a little bit old fashioned maybe, is that the select board does all the hiring and firing.
Should it be switched there by approval of employees terminated with input from the department manager or by the select board?
I think.
I don't know
the
there-
authority covers it, because should the town ever decide to change it and give the TA, or call the town manager, or leave it a TA and give him hire fire, which that does exist, it would still cover,
Okay.
you wouldn't have to change it.
Um,
Because I don't think anyone's gonna get terminated without the department head having some conversations, but it's not
Yeah,
gonna be.
it's
a
not like you
complete
showed up
surprise.
on day 89, you're fired.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's pretty much, de facto gonna have to come from the department head and the town administrator having a conversation.
Right. I understand that.
Any questions, Mickey?
Because it's clear that the select board does not hire a fire library. It's clear in there. I just.
Well, it doesn't have to be in here because it's clear elsewhere, and that's why we use hiring authority.
No,
it comes
we
to-
have it, it's there, that's
Yeah.
clear. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, that's why it says hiring, and another reason to have hiring.
I understand that now.
Right. Okay, so, are we approving it?
I'll make a motion that we approve the draft of the probationary period.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call vote?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Policy approved. Which next?
you wanna do them in
Yeah,
alphabetical
we can
order?
do military leave. I didn't have any comments on it. If there's no comments, we'll just accept it as approved by unanimous consent.
Military? Yes.
Mhm.
Nepotism is tricky.
I know.
Do we have a policy about nepotism now?
I don't know if we currently do, but we should.
Because my initial reaction was that Tyler shouldn't have been hired.
Well, there's
that
a
his
lot
nephew?
of,
Tyler, he's Jim's nephew.
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of difficulties, and I think at the end of the day, we do have the state ethics law, right?
Mhm.
And this restates some of what state ethics law says, but now we have two kind of things that could be contradictory. They're not contradictory, but I don't know if we should just say state ethics law is sufficient in terms of bans on immediate family
Supervisory position.
supervisory position, because we have things that are out of compliance with this policy as we speak, and we've taken measures on a as needed basis to rectify individual situations.
And it's not like we're not aware.
It's not a secret.
Yeah, and I don't think it's something that people aren't aware of as a problem in small towns.
Yeah.
So, do you wanna just not, we can choose to not have it. But the topic was raised, so
Yeah.
I created one,
Yeah.
or actually Lindsay created one.
I mean, I think like when it says the town administrator should be notified if there's
I
someone
think
being hired, the department head whose relative it is should have no input whatsoever about the hire, right? If the highway chief's son applies for the labor position,
Right.
it's not like, oh, you can tell Roger I'm hiring my son. It should
He's
be.
starting on Monday.
It
No
should-
posting.
Well, for one thing, he's not
That's-
a hiring authority. The department heads aren't hiring.
I know, but
That's true.
it's just
Like, you know,
confusing.
it is.
I don't wanna say we shouldn't have a nepotism policy, but maybe the state ethics law is sufficient in handling this
Okay.
very difficult and important question, particularly in a small town. And I don't know if having a policy is gonna do any more
No,
than
I'm
the
not
state
sure.
ethics law already does.
Do we
Yeah,
have
but I
a
think-
mechanism state?
What do we do for the fire department?
Well, we talked about that, particularly on him giving Chris a review.
Right,
you
good.
know.
Right, that
You know, there
he's
was-
not gonna be, he's gonna be involved because he just does the day to day, but at the end of the day, you're the one
You're
doing
doing
business.
that. I'm not as familiar with the state laws, but I don't know, I don't think at this point we should have this as a written statement. We're a small town, we depend on certain things, you know. We have to select board it because they have the authority to hire, has to be sensitive to it, and if necessary, say no to it, but I think it gets a little convoluted.
And I think that the state ethics law is pretty strong on this, right?
Yeah.
So it says very clearly you cannot make a decision that would impact yourself or an immediate family member in any financial way. So certainly if you're supervising an employee or hiring them.
Or firing them.
Yes, and
Right?
and there's teeth to the state ethics law that are pretty clear as well. So if we ran into a situation, I feel like that's how we would handle it.
All right. I think we,
Doing it,
I think we might trip over ourselves.
I agree. I always had reservations. On the one hand, I thought it was important. On the other hand, I sort of feel like I don't want to say desperate enough for people, and we don't want to exclude someone just because they're related to somebody else in the tiny town.
So I think we won't have an outcome.
So we need to vote on it.
No, we'll just move on. Parental leave. I gotta love these one-page ones.
Oh, that was good to see. There's only one, 2 pages, 3
I
pages.
know, right?
They're 3-pager. There's only one today, or 3-pager.
That's what I was kind of curious. The FMLA is kind of the guiding
Yeah, this is,
document, but
this is different than the FMLA, right?
well, it says it uses 8 of your 12 FMLA weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you're basically, if you're
I see.
giving birth or adopting anything,
so they included in the employee as well.
because otherwise they'd have 20.
Yeah, they have 20 weeks. That's on that.
You know, while in some ways you could say was reasonable for a small town that doesn't have a lot of staff, it's a big deal.
That's a burden.
Never mind the financial one, you've got to know doing the job for that long, whatever the job might be.
Good snow removal.
I think that where 2 employees are requesting leave for the birth or adoption of a child, they only get 8 weeks total is wrong.
I mean,
Because the way that PFMLA works now, which is the Paid Family Medical Leave Act through Massachusetts, I'm just because I dealt with it a lot recently.
right?
Each parent's entitled to 12 weeks of bonding. So that's a total of 24 weeks. And if you gave birth to the child, if you're the mom and you give birth to the child, you get an additional up to like 13 weeks of medical. So you get up to 25 weeks, and plus 12 is like 37 weeks. So I feel like if we happen to have 2 employees that work for the town and they're having a child, to only give them 8 weeks total is not really competitive or fair compared to what else.
This doesn't seem to match what
What you were just saying.
what
as well.
FMLA is.
Well,
Yeah.
that's PFMLA.
Well, no,
Which-
even FMLA, because this is similar to the FMLA, you're not getting paid. But that whole issue of the 8 weeks of parental leave in aggregate, that, I don't think it works that way. I don't think FMLA works that way either.
I trusted Lindsay for that.
Well, maybe,
Um,
did you look up the MGL reference here? Because maybe that supersedes. I don't know.
You know, 129, 105D.
A lot of this is taken right from there. It says right in here, any 2 employees of the same employer shall only be entitled to 8 weeks of parental leave in aggregate. I mean, this is basically restating. So that's all we're required to do by law. We could certainly offer more
under FMLA, both parents have the right to take up to 12 weeks of leave in a 12-month period. So it's
That's FMLA, which means it's not paid.
This is unpaid.
Yeah, this is
Right,
unpaid,
but
yeah.
you were talking about.
I was talking about, the reason why I brought up PFMLA at all was not to dilute or confuse this subject, but to say, look, if you're an employee in the private sector, most or a lot pay into PFMLA. And that's kind of what we're competing against. If I was a parent that was gonna be expecting, and I looked at this policy versus working in the private sector and getting a combined 37 weeks off. You know,
Yep.
what's happening?
Well, I just think we are such a small organization. One person fills a position, there isn't somebody else to step in
Yeah,
and fill for the next
Exactly.
37 weeks. That's.
It's crazy.
No, well, that's for two
$2 a
people.
year.
That's for two people. I'm not proposing 37 weeks. I'm not proposing 37 weeks. But I'm just telling you, if you're allowing a total of 8 weeks, so let's say they both take it off equal, and you're expecting the mom that just gave birth to go back to work 4 weeks later. I mean, that's fine. I know that's the way it's been done for a lot of history, but it's not common. It's not common anymore. And I know that's the way it was done, but it's just not common.
Okay, this is a weird thought, but, and maybe this is a wording question, but it occurs to me that if both parents left for the same 8 weeks, that could also fall into the way that's worded.
Maybe that's what it is, 8 weeks. It's,
I mean, it does say in the aggregate.
Yeah.
But they would still both only be gone for 8 weeks. It's just they're each gone for 8 weeks.
Yeah, but, yeah. They're both going very.
I don't know. It's basically, this is MGL. If we want to guarantee what MGL guarantees, this is what we do.
It's a minimum.
So I think that's fine.
we didn't have an FMLA policy though, did we?
No, I mean, FMLA supersedes, right? So I don't
You
know how
have
this
to,
relates.
you have to
So that's-
act on it, but this just lays out that you are acting on it.
I think that we might need to incorporate both in this parental leave policy, because.
You mean the PFMLA?
No, just the FMLA, because
Okay.
it's just not making any sense to me, because it sounds like if two employees, so if I happen to be in a relationship, both of us want to take off together under Mass GLE Chapter 149, Section 105D, we can both take 8 weeks off, but then do we get another 12 weeks after that, or do we each get 4 weeks after that under FMLA? So it doesn't make sense to me why. I've never even heard of this specific one before in my years of working for, like, I've never heard of anybody using. Everybody uses FMLA for parental leave policy. I've never.
I
don't
see, they
understand.
don't have a separate one, they just let you.
Yeah, it's just the FMLA, right? I don't understand.
Except under FMLA, you're not paid.
Neither are you on this one.
Oh, really?
So
No, yeah.
you're not in this one, and so I just looked up some guidance from mass.gov on this, and it goes into the interrelationship of the MMLA and the FMLA, right? And it says right here, in certain instances, they overlap, and then it goes and it details it. So
I mean, I trusted that she wrote it
Yeah.
correctly, because this is what they do, but I did not then go myself and check all of the laws to make sure she had gotten it correct.
I don't know. I think it's correct in its representation of the
What
Mass
the law
General
says.
Law.
Right.
I don't know if it represents correctly what we might offer. Because if our family medical, if our parental leave is gonna be specific to family medical leave, but this is under parental leave though, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to just family medical leave, which includes parental leave or any. So.
But you can keep it succinct. In other words, they could take another 4 weeks. So they could have parental leave of the 8 weeks and take another 4 under FMLA, and they would be protected. What they can't do is take 20.
I'm gonna I think we need to punt this one.
Yeah.
Because it certainly gives kind of maybe a misrepresentation of what employees are legally entitled to. Even though it's factual in what it says, it might not give the whole picture.
So,
And there's this very long and complicated fact sheet, which I'll send to you.
It's almost like there needs to be a sheet for FMLA and then a sheet for rental.
And that's what I'm trying to.
So that, you know, to me, they confuse.
there,
it.
I believe there is, that we did found.
I know,
didn't
but
we do
I know we
that?
did. I thought we did do it,
We
but
did do it.
I don't think that the
Oh,
FF, I don't know.
All right, well, we're punting this particular one.
By punting, does that mean we're not doing it, we're
No, we'll
visiting
come
it, we're
back to
sending
it.
it to the legal team, we're sending it back to Lindsay?
I think we have to have it.
Revisit.
We'll revisit.
But not, I don't think that we're prepared to figure it
Just,
out tonight.
Okay, do you
More
want me,
questions than answers.
would you like me to consult with anyone about this?
Yes.
Donna, maybe?
And or Colin.
Okay,
Or both.
I mean, just say, and I just sent you the fact sheet about the difference between MMLA and FMLA.
okay,
Just say, look, we want to be clear about what employees are entitled to between these two different policies. It gets confusing.
right.
How do we best do that?
What's confusing is I'm not finding FMLA, but I could have sworn we,
I know we've talked about
I
it.
know we've talked about it.
It's so straightforward.
Uh, I lost it somehow, that's horrible. Huh?
Well,
Alright, so, do you want me to consult with Donna about this? And
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Collins,
I would
and I will
start
get,
with
I will do
Donna.
that, okay. But for sure, we should also have an FMLA, I thought we did, I will endeavor to find it and figure out why it isn't its own policy. Okay.
Performance improvement policy. My only comment would be, under termination, it says, well, not limited to these, some examples of such behavior include, and there's a couple listed, but I feel like we could add a few more that are just like theft. Showing up to work under the influence. I mean, not that we need to be exhaustive, but I think it's illustrative.
but don't we have some of that already somewhere else?
Separation policy.
Yeah. It should be, the wording should be consistent in here, that what it's in.
Yeah. That's a good point.
The drug use is awkward, how to phrase that.
Substance.
Theft is easy,
I would say substance.
yes, but what about substance?
Illegal.
I don't.
But you're not testing
And
them.
we could just say intoxicated at work or something. I
Okay.
mean, that,
Unfit condition.
I think that's it's gross, unfit condition to work, copper,
Yeah, I think that's, yeah.
without.
is that like you can't lift 50 pounds and we said you need to lift 50 pounds?
No, it's like you're affected in a way that's not gonna make you able to drive your
Yeah.
vehicle. And I mean, if someone is on medication for something that they're having an adverse effect to, one would hope they would note it before getting in their own vehicle, never mind someone else's, but if they show up to work with that, I mean, there's tons of medications that say, don't operate heavy machinery, but people don't always.
And if they accidentally were on such a medication, we might not terminate them, we might be like, oh,
You'd
you
be
were
like,
on,
You need to not operate that today, you're still sick, come home, I think or something, but
so I'm noticing there's a lot of overlap between this and the discipline policy.
there is.
And should we keep both or combine them?
It's
Keep
a
them as
good
two
question,
separate?
so I think.
Well, this is actually dealing with records, you know, you're allowed.
Well,
to-
not personnel records yet.
But it
Maybe
basically,
skip one.
it's saying, like, if you're doing something we're not happy about, this is the process we're gonna go,
Yeah.
right?
I just don't, it
You're
could
not
be
sure
seen
we
as
need both?
conflictual between discipline and,
Hmm,
the current one.
I have to reboot Word, it's not letting me open the other policy. Oh, man. Excuse me.
Because this one's called performance improvement.
And the other one's called discipline.
Yeah.
It's a good point, they do overlap, I think the reason originally must have been that one was trying to have a positive outlook.
Mhm.
And the other is like, yeah, but when you step over the line, this.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. It wouldn't be terrible to combine them. Mm-hmm.
Maybe, maybe termination doesn't need to be in this, since this is performance improvement.
Yeah, but if performance doesn't improve.
Right, it's in there because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's like the
Maybe
steps
change
towards it.
I think
Oh,
they,
step one,
I
step
kind of
two.
think they, I kind of think they
I see
do
what
need
you're
to be combined.
I think
Yeah.
so, because it's
Okay.
one less policy.
Because then, you know, you think you're
Yeah.
doing everything by the book and someone says, well, you didn't follow these steps.
Yeah.
So
Because we followed.
maybe to try to be positive,
Yeah,
the
because
combined
it-
one would be performance improvement and discipline policy.
Because there's a big list of
Yeah,
terminations.
I think the way, what you just said would be the
Okay.
policy.
Yeah.
So we look
Barring
to
your
combine
pen.
these two, so we'll,
Right.
Yeah.
to review and combine.
Does that functional pen? And mine at least literally died in the first two sentences I wrote, so I had no way of knowing, it doesn't even have a gauge
So-
at this time.
We're gonna take a look at discipline and performance.
I think they just will be combined and then it will be clear when there's
The
issues,
person
this
will
is how
go
they're
to
dealt
one
with.
sheet, one policy,
Yeah.
because they can read the discipline policy, but not this.
Yes,
So put it all on. the-
Yeah,
and call it
think it's a good idea.
performance improvement and discipline.
Okay.
So given that we'll be combining those, I think we'll move on to personnel records. Um, The only thing that I don't know, as far as this policy is concerned is, does the town administrator keep all the personal files or everyone under your purview? Do you keep the police officer files? Do you keep, you don't keep the library files probably? What about the assessors?
Only when they, like, only if were hired, like, if we hired an assessor.
Yeah.
I would probably keep that, but outside of that, I don't.
Well, when we do the employee reviews, will you have a folder to put?
I'd have to go back through and look and see, I haven't actually looked to see if there's a Don Clausen folder in there. But, yeah,
I assume you have a, just for example, but you probably have a Brian Pagey folder. Do you have a Jen Brown folder?
yes, I do,
Okay.
but it's more like, let's see, when I looked in it last, it's not like.
It's not.
Well, don't talk about what's in it.
It's not, no, I know, but I'm just
It's not
trying to,
performance
it's not
stuff.
performance, it's not like anything specific to their
Their job.
Their job. I think it might be some hiring or
Forms
maybe
about
some
social
insurance
security,
or
blah,
something
blah,
like
blah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not really what you might consider performance evaluations or performance related. It's very,
So
very limited.
So we're not actually doing this.
And also, I think to some degree, the standardization of it is useful.
That they're all in one place.
And to some degree, the police the way that police officers are monitored and disciplined is just basically something the police chief in a lot of ways is I mean, it's particular to police.
Right.
There's other departments that are off on their own because there's an elected board that oversees them.
Right.
But should there also be a copy at town hall in the town administrator's office? Yeah, probably. Like a centralization of it all. But the way that it reads here is that the town administrator has everything, and then department heads might also have some things. Maybe department heads may maintain their own files, and copies of those files should be passed along to the town administrator's office. Does that make sense?
So department heads switch the order of the two sentences and have department heads just take out maintain files supporting departmental personal action, but copies of these files should also reside with the town administrator? Or do we leave it in it?
What do you think, Roger, since you're the one who deals with the files?
I think there's actually some issue with maintaining personnel files in multiple locations.
Yeah.
Especially
They're
if
gonna be, end up different.
they're gonna be, end up different, but also, on an HR issue, I know we don't have HR, but in an
You
HR
are
issue,
HR.
I have
Yeah, I
HR.
was thinking the same.
Knowing
He
that.
didn't read that email.
Knowing that, in one office somewhere, someone is maintaining information about someone in their office and not passing that information along to HR is an issue.
Yeah.
Because I've seen that happen before. And it's not fair to the employee that somebody is holding information about them, whether it's write-ups or something like that, separate from HR and the knowledge of the overall organization, specific to the hiring authority and that. So I think, to your point, even though there might be things at the library, or there might be things in the police department, or those, copies may need to be made and maintained in one
But the
spot.
town administrator
It's like the
shall be
central,
the central,
yeah, like
the centralization of that.
So should it read something
So maybe it
like,
should read exactly the read.
a department heads may maintain, but maybe it shall maintain the official personnel files and all personnel and, department heads should ensure that copies of all personnel related documents are have been supplied to the
Yeah.
town administrator?
I'm just reading this.
Well, anything that would fit in the list below, right?
Well, except it says, but not limited to, so if they do some type of personnel action and they're making a record of it, it should be given a copy to it. Administration can- copies of,
Which means we do need to do things a little bit differently than how they've been done,
Yeah.
but I think it's the right way.
I think it's smart to have that in one central location, that's locked.
Yeah.
Just for clarity.
Yeah.
You made some edits on the document.
So it reads, department heads may maintain files supporting departmental personnel actions, but copies of all such materials should be supplied to the town administrator.
If that's sufficient with everyone, then we'll take that as approved by unanimous consent as amended.
Yes.
Good.
1028.
Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. I don't have anything.
I've never heard that one before, yeah.
I mean, clearly, we're supposed to do it, but this just says that we know that we're supposed to do it. And that just leaves retirement plan.
Yeah.
So I actually propose that we put, so all the other things in the benefit, employee benefits thing are optional. This one's required,
Yes,
which is why it was originally separate.
yes.
But I feel like having it off on its own is a little weird at the same time. I feel like it's hanging out there by itself.
Yeah.
I actually thought appending it to the employee benefits page would be the better choice. Ironically, the employee benefits page takes up an entire page, so it ends up itself alone on a page. So I don't know how different that is, except it runs one and then the other.
I would, I think, if you feel like adding the benefits, I agree with that. The only thing that I would add is employees are required to complete retirement enrollment paperwork prior to beginning of work.
Oh. Depending on paper.
And prior to changes in employment status, which would affect retirement plan. So we've had, and it's not the employee's fault, but we had employees who were part-time on OBRA and they got promoted or changed positions to full-time on Berkshire County Retirement and did not make the change. And it was not their fault, but did not make the change. And then they were paying in the wrong system for many months.
Okay, so employees are required to fill out paperwork for the retirement plan prior to employment?
Yeah, prior to the beginning of employment. And will we follow it 100% of the time, all the time? Maybe not. Maybe sometimes we hire someone in a pinch that we need to start work tomorrow.
And
But-
any time their status
Status
changes.
changes.
Their status changes to the extent that it changes their retirement.
Like their employment
In
status.
regard to, their retirement policy.
Took me a while, but I did figure out that through our onboarding system, they were using the wrong documents. So I pushed those along. I think it may have worked.
Enrollment paperwork. Where you put paperwork, how do you say enrollment paperwork? Just to be clear about what paperwork.
Okay.
And it says tie instead of time, not to restart.
So
Thank you, actually.
this is gonna be on the
Anything
benefits.
else?
Is that- So that's, we're gonna include this on the benefits page, so. Benefits.
Yes, I'm going to append it to the,
Okay, great, we're done with that.
done with that.
So special town meeting date, David proposed January, let me see the date.
I just have a quick time.
Oh!
Just start.
Oh, sweet.
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Are you okay?
I'm
Watch
fine.
you glad, watch you glad.
Not that it wasn't an extreme meeting, I just dozed off.
I think it calls for honestly, related to this.
Yeah, I just relaxed a little too much.
You said it was gonna be boring.
I did give you a warning.
I saw her start to tip over.
Are you so?
I don't think it was my head.
Well, it landed on the cushion, so I can't.
You feel, you need a glass of water.
Thank you.
All right.
Maybe a nap would be good.
Right, so David, bylaw review meeting. or the
Well,
special
yeah,
town
he was
meeting.
just proposing, and I'm just putting it on our all radars, so we don't plan vacations to Europe.
Well, I already got some vacation, June.
Never pointing any fingers.
Yeah, really.
So Saturday, January 17th.
January 17th.
I'm trying to remember, why was the 24th under consideration? If so, why not? in David's email. I'll only tell you why, because the 17th has us signing it sometime around like New Year's, which is a dreadful time to have a meeting. Now, unless we do it way in advance, like we'd all love to do, mid-December. But we usually skip a week or two right around New Year's.
So what was the question again? Was it?
Well, David proposed 17th, which I thought was great, until now I'm looking at the calendar and thinking, that has this meeting right around.
I'm trying to remember what the problem was, but I just haven't scrolled down to find it.
I prefer the 17th.
Because,
I don't know, there's multiple reasons.
Does that do with Europe
yeah, he did, I think he
or the
did,
nation's capital?
I think he
I would say
didn't
the
suggest
Maryland State
anything
Capitol.
later because, but, yeah, it's a good point. You wanna come in January first? Yeah.
We don't need to, we can do it in advance.
Oh, that's true.
If we have our
If
stuff
we have
together.
everything together, we could do it in advance.
Which-
So it'd be that.
We should. Because
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna try to do it in advance. Now, I'm just looking at you.
And the 2 weeks, the only bad thing is if we tried to have if we sent out cause we wanted to send it out 4 weeks in advance, right, cause it's so long.
Yeah.
So we
Would be
have to do it in
mid-December.
advance. The only bad thing would then be that the 3rd would be the informational meeting, but it's not that terrible. Not that many people go away for the whole, if they go away, they go Christmas to New Year's, they don't go New Year's to the
Well,
next
it's
week,
fine.
Doesn't school start? School starts pretty soon right after that.
usually.
All right, we'll plan on the 17th, it's penciled in. In a couple weeks, we'll make it in 10.
TikTok. Okay.
So, were you in an updated contract for Eric?
No, I haven't got any.
So,
yet.
we
Other
can
than
do
that,
is print it out,
other
do it
than-
in pen.
other than that email that he sent.
Did you get mine?
Yeah.
You tried to underpay himself. By like $1,000 a year.
What was that? I guess I didn't fully read the email. So what was that again?
He tried to underpay himself by $1,000 a year. No, I can also, in his contract.
I was trying to find the total value, because he gave us the value of that contract originally.
It's $43,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you divide that by 12 and that's your monthly payment for the
Yeah.
first 9 months of the contract.
Yep.
That's already the payment we've been doing.
Yep.
But he put in 42,000 divided by 12. I don't know why.
Oh, I see.
So if you print it out and we can just pen mark it up,
Yep.
we'll sign it. Let's do it. Let's get it over with. We just have to write the right amount. I sent an email to him this morning trying to get him to put it in the right amount so we could get paid.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know, it's a little scary.
It's a little different when you're
Yeah.
telling me.
All right, let me hold on. Let me find it on my computer and I'll print it out on my computer. We'll do it tonight. So what you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay, let me go find it.
Treasurer contract, Roger and I are meeting with Sarah tomorrow.
Okay.
I don't really know, but I also sent her something about the first 9 months will be at this rate and then the next 3 will be decided, but she didn't.
While we're waiting for him to print that out, I just wanted to let you guys know that I went to the housing committee meeting last week. And then I also went up to BCC, the RPC had a housing conversation meeting there, which was interesting. They, both of them were interesting. I think the housing committee is taking it seriously and cares a lot. And one of the members is gonna try to draft, a short-term rental rule to give to the planning board for consideration. They're, they're trying to come at it from a lot of directions. I think that I found a really good contact that would be willing to come talk to them. She works for, I think it's called Parkway. Used to be the Berkshire Regional Housing Court or whatever. They're the ones doing the Eagle Mill project.
Okay.
They've done a lot of projects. She's really knowledgeable about what it takes to put those things together. And I think they manage the situations after they're up as well. I don't know if they do it in perpetuity or just till they're built. But I thought it would be a good, we're never gonna have a 45-unit place here. Like, I don't think that's something we can do, but if there's anyone around that might know how we could leverage something smaller, it might be better.
Right.
The BRPC things, a group at UMass issued a report on the 4 westernmost towns, so Franklin, Hampshire, and then in Berkshire. They had done a previous one that was just Berkshire, you know, what? It doesn't, I mean, it's good data to have. It basically just confirms everything we already knew. I think one thing that was interesting is they actually looked at corporate ownership. Which is lower than I worried, but a lot higher than it ought to be. So, and just, it shows the trends, it was useful data to have, just because it documents what we already know. The Berkshire numbers are amusingly low from the lottery standpoint. I mean, if you average in Adams property values and Pittsfield property values with our property values, it's not the same. Or Athletics or Stockbridge, right? Yeah.
I'm checking to make sure I didn't, 3%.
For his contract?
Yeah,
So you guys had nothing better to do. I'm used to Mickey showing up and listening to our meetings. I was surprised you guys stuck with it the whole time.
Oh, I needed a nap, so.
Couldn't sleep, Doc.
Next time, stay home and do it online so you can sleep on your couch.
Oh, next time.
As long as you didn't snore.
Yeah. We just don't want to hurt yourself. You gotta wear a crash helmet if you're gonna fall asleep in your chair.
We can set up a cot. Is there anything I'm missing about why you would have done that? We have $1,000 in that account for something else.
No. Well, the $1,000 goes to our advantage, so you told them, I would wait till they come back.
No less than 35.
Oh, no, I made an error.
No, the wording's all right, the number's wrong.
He's saying, I think it's supposed to be 3,600.
No, it's supposed to be 30, I sent it this morning, but it's supposed to be.
I didn't get a chance to read it.
It's supposed to be 3583.33.
So that doesn't make any sense.
Well, that times 12 is 42,000, which is what's in our budget.
Right, 43,000. So what's 43 times 9?
43,000
Times 9.
No, 35 times 9. I'm sorry. Because that's where.
No, but Roger, what's in our budget
It's
for
43.
FY26, which is the year we're in, it's 43,000. So that's divided by 12, evenly paid from June, or from July until June.
Right.
We're not worried about July, August, September in this contract, about the exact amount. We just say it's TBD.
Oh, I see the monthly rates for the 3 months, July, August, September.
It's TBD.
2026. Yeah.
But
It
you
should
got,
not be set.
so.
Yeah.
Should we mark it up in pen and sign that?
Yeah.
Or you wanna wait for him to get the cut? We already agreed on the
I mean,
budget.
we agreed, he knows our budget.
Yeah,
too.
it's,
Yeah.
so why this happened, I don't know, but, can you just mark it up in pen and then we'll sign it and then.
So what was the contract? So the
It's supposed
shall
to
be
be
paid
per
at a
month,
rate of
$3,583.33.
$3,583. Right.
And then it has to be corrected in the lower place too, because we're not gonna give them a.
Shall be no less, it'll be no less than that.
For next year. For the last, well, really for the last 3 months.
It's getting late.
Yeah. I have a hot date with Cora.
Movie night.
Every night is movie night with Cora.
It's on that.
She has two cats, one for her lap, one for my lap. My cat is missing me. Anyway, you were wanting to know about the drawdown, the timing of it. Artie was wanting to know.
Roger can explain that.
Yeah, it's a little bit confused right now, but because we're dealing with the beaver issue at the dam right now. They piled up some muck.
Yeah.
So that, we're lowering the dam a little bit, we're lowering the water level a little bit right now. So we can then go clean that off.
Good.
And that will actually overlap with the drawdown, which was supposed to start November 1st. So sometime around November 3rd, I think it is we'll actually be into the drawdown at this point. Right now, though, we're waiting for the paperwork to come back from Mass DEP for
They
the 6 foot
have specific
drawdown.
numbers.
So technically, we're in like a 3 foot drawdown phase, but we're hoping that we'll get the paperwork and then just go right into the 6 foot drawdown.
That was live.
Right. And then you should-
Yeah, because I know the agreement,
Yep.
originally was about the 3 foot,
Yeah,
but everybody wanted the 6 foot.
Yep.
And then they were saying, not the last meeting, but before that, that the state had final say.
Yep.
And at the last meeting, it was said that the conservation board, the town has the final say.
so the town, the Conservation Commission voted on an amendment, and they, to go from 3 foot to 6 foot, and they passed that. And then they voted on a whole bunch of different conditions for that drawdown, and all that paperwork was just sent to Mass DEP today.
So it's gonna be the 6 foot drawdown?
Yes.
Mass DEP has 10 days once they get it to appeal or have it appeal towards it. So it'll sit for 10 days once Mass DEP gets it. And if no one appeals it, then it should go to the 6 foot.
And
it
we're
should go to
told
6 foot.
typically they don't appeal.
Typically,
Yeah,
we're told it
But I
doesn't
mean,
appeal.
if the state said no.
Yep.
Who has the final say? The town?
So it is confusing.
Understand.
Part of the reason we've been saying that commission has the say is because there was this basically misinformation that the commission responded to the DEP and Fish and Wildlife. And it's supposed to be set up as a local rule. The commission makes the decision, not Fish and Wildlife, not DEP. However, there can be appeals. So they make the decision from scratch based on how they understand the issue. There can be appeals. So in that sense, they don't have the final say. But they're also not responding to Fish and Wildlife or DEP right off the bat, which there had been some confusion in previous years, as though they were basically responsible to them. But it could get appealed.
Because basically the idea of the drawdown was the control of the weeds and all. You know, over the years, and they tried it a number of years back, letting it down for 3 years, all the way down, and then the 4th year only letting it down 3 foot, and the weed control was worse. I mean, the best thing for the lake, really, and they said that, is to let it down as far as you can for as long as you can.
Yeah.
You know, if the lake gets overrun with weeds, that's not gonna be good for anyone.
And they're balancing different interests as well, because some of the science supports the idea that you don't want to do it too quickly or refill it too quickly. And you don't want to do it too early or too late. And the idea is that animals and creatures can kind of migrate during that time period and they won't be harmed.
That's why they let it down slow.
It's very measured now. It used to just be like crank the whole thing all the way open and then in the spring close it all up. And now, because of the scientists and the regulations, they're trying to do it in a healthier way.
In terms of the amphibians and the turtles and that go down into the mud to hibernate.
In terms of all the invertebrate and
It has something to do with
Yeah.
so-called weed control. It was originally drawdown way back in my understanding was all about flood control.
that's another aspect to it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The dam is sort of
So that was about spring runoff. You know, you had to get the level down, so there was this huge flood in the spring that wouldn't wipe out, but there's that great big wide spillway,
Yeah,
which would take care of any.
it's not, I, like, to be completely honest with you, flood control is a thing that's talked about, and it's a factor, but it's not the driving force.
The
And
other,
then for many years, it was all about, no, we draw the lake down so that the ice doesn't damage our docks and so forth and so forth. And then, oh no, it's about weed control.
Well, there's some people that's their opinion, but that's not why we do it,
Well,
right? Everyone can have their reason for why they like it or don't like it.
Yeah.
But that's not why the town at the end of the day applies for the permit. It's not for Joe's dock that he doesn't take out of the water.
Well,
Which
the
you
state
should-
had
it was
said
like before you had
years
to-
ago that they're not responsible
Bonner.
for anybody's docks. If you don't take your dock out or something, the state had nothing to do with
Yeah.
it. That was your mistake.
And it still is.
I
That's
think
right.
you would enjoy the fact that my impression from the Department of Fish and Wildlife, I know they like to be called Mass Wildlife now, whatever, is that, their preference is that you use chemical control for the weeds.
Well, yeah, as long as it's not harmful to, the environment.
not harmful.
Well,
I
you
don't
know,
I'm
they have
saying,
short
as long
residence
as
times,
it's not,
Bonner.
I don't know exactly.
I think we
Some
should take a
places you say.
bulldozer to the dam and restore the lake to its original footprint.
Which was a stream, not a lake.
Do you want to make a motion?
I'm cutting that out and sending it to Berkshire Eagle.
I don't think Lake Buell would like that. That's where all the water from here is going in down there.
Well, it's been a dry year, we all need more water.
There you go.
Alright.
But so basically, it's still talking about 6 foot.
Thanks, guys, I gotta roll.
We don't know for
Bye.
sure. We are hoping for 6 feet, not everyone is. We're gonna basically start now lowering it, because above normal pool by a few
It says
inches.
from, November 1st, the 3 foot they're starting with. that.
Yes,
Right.
and if we get approval in the meantime, it may go down to 6 feet, and we try to put that out there and let people know.
Because it's higher because of the beaver action.
But there's
Higher
also
than
a
should.
drop dead date if we have to stop all drawdown. And I forget, it's sometime in December,
December 1st.
December 1st. So if it gets down 4 feet or 3 feet or whatever, 1 foot, maybe it rains for the next 30 days.
Well, there's that possibility.
Then I think December 1st, we have to put the kibosh on it.
Oh, then they start,
We
like,
just-
come back up again, or,
Well, we manage it all winter long,
yeah.
because you have to open it up and close it and open it up.
Yeah, they
The
keep
way
it
that-
at a certain level.
The way it was built was basically to be opened once and closed once. But if you want to choose individual heights, we have that demonstration there, which tries to.
Oh, yeah, on the, I know how that functions.
You spend all winter opening and closing it to try to micromanage the level.
Right, to keep it, well, they didn't wanna let it down fast, they wanted something like an inch a day or something.
Yes.
You gotta control the level of it, because otherwise you get flooding downstream also if you open up too much. It's all going into Lake Buell.
Yeah.
They
So
do
it's-
not like that.
It's a little bit of a. That's.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, well, hopefully they'll agree on the 6 foot.
We'll see.
Everyone have a good evening.
All right,
you too.
Take it easy, thank you.
Town administrator updates.
I don't have any updates.
Okay, good.
I have some unanticipated business.
Okay.
We finally got our, we did a heavy equipment rental.
Yeah.
For stuff, so, there was, we only had one company bid for it.
Okay.
And, it's, Herc Rentals. They have a location out of Springfield if you need them.
Where'd the roller come from that you guys were using?
We rented it from, I forget the name of this place up in Pittsfield. I forget what the name of it is.
Yeah, it's United, I think the old.
United
John
Rentals.
Deere.
Yeah, United
Yeah,
Rentals.
they bought the John Deere.
Yeah.
Business rental.
So,
John
just
Deere,
did a,
down the street. They gave us a rental. Put through. Back on land.
So whether we use them or not, I don't know. But that blue little dot there has a signature page on it.
One person.
Yeah, just one person. Okay. I am looking into November 7th, Mass DOT has a new set of grants coming out. One is a whole set of grants for unpaved roads. And one of the items in there is just that one sheet right there. one of the items they have is actually for equipment. And so I'm going to see if we can use the grant to get a roller, so we don't have to rent it.
What's the name of the company?
Herc Rentals. So hopefully we can get that taken care of. But that opens up November 7th.
How much do you say a roller costs?
They're telling me it costs $135,000. So, I mean.
And would the grant cover all of it?
Yeah, that's what and because we're a rural community, there's no matching.
So when we painted the lines, did that come out of the winter recovery assistance program?
Nope, that came out of Chapter 90 money.
Something like that.
It's like 30, I forget what it was 30, something like that. Yeah, I'd have to go back and look and see.
Except on Blue Hill Road where there's not 4 lines.
4
We've
lines?
been up there.
No,
I was adjusting. Go through time.
It would come up to that.
In some places.
It would come up to that inebriated Sean.
Yeah.
Have you been on Blue Hill Road lately?
I have to go.
There's like a big line that's this big.
I
haven't
just
seen
didn't even notice it, or I noticed it this, whatever,
Yeah, I mean, we have
I'd like to come home from Great Barrington that way.
we have like a little over $1 million in Chapter 90 money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I know it's supposed to be really not for capital purchases in general, but
I'd rather see us, if we can
the
get a
grant,
grant.
yeah, grant
that
number
would be
1.
great, yeah.
That's what it's going
They're
for.
not gonna be using it during the winter anyway.
So
Yeah.
So let's try the grant.
So that's the only thing I have.
Any other unanticipated member items?
Yeah, I'll be away 12/2, 12/9. I'm away for 2 weeks. I can't do Zoom.
Where are you going now?
Egypt.
Oh, wow.
Egypt.
That'll be interesting.
Well,
So wait a minute, you're going for 12/2 and then 12/9?
I had those 2 meetings. I'm
Oh,
going
I see.
November 30th to come back.
It's cool, I've been,
Yeah.
it's very cool.
Yeah.
well, let's
It's a long
talk
time
about the
ago,
next
so.
couple of meetings. So we'll meet on, if this works for November 11th, is that Veterans Day?
Yes.
We can move and make it another day.
So it could be either Monday or Wednesday. Go back to Wednesday.
Go back to Wednesday first.
Do it to 12.
Cause what?
But are you meeting November 10th?
Yeah.
So,
That's the second.
where we can meet like different days, it doesn't have to be that week. I'm just looking at.
You could.
What's
you
that?
could-
Left my phone in the car.
If
It's a time change. It's a time change. It hasn't happened yet.
If we met next week, right, and then went back to a traditional, like if you met on the 4th and went to.
Then that would go really well, except Frank's not gonna be here on the December 2nd, right?
Yeah, December
Yes.
2nd. I leave November 30th to come back.
But we'd have
Because
to.
I have other ideas, I just realized, you know what, I have plenty of ideas. One is, we gotta meet with the native plant people to talk about the pilot programs.
I was gonna do that on the 4th.
And then
Oh, they actually wanted to do it.
we can
later.
tell the highway department that they're good to mow, as long as that's still good. Because I assume they wanna mow.
They
those
did, they actually
sections.
he asked me today if they could mow.
So,
And I said, yeah, probably November.
yeah, that was always part of the plan.
Yep.
And then the second thing is, I thought we should meet with the finance committee
In preparation.
in
for
preparation for the
budget
plan.
meeting.
What's that?
Budgets. I gotta get that back in my head again now.
All right, so
Oh,
we're.
no, I feel like we just did it. Oh, wait, we did.
So, yeah.
It takes like 6 months to make a budget, you get 6 months out and then you're back to it again. Oh, wait.
I don't know.
So I think in my conversations with the native plants, that's the right group, right? I think they wanted to do it later in November, have their meeting later in November.
That's fine. We don't need to meet next week. By the 11th, I'm sure we'll need to meet.
But that's Veterans Day and
Yeah.
we close.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
So do you want to do it the 10th or the 12th?
Mickey says we're not allowed to on the 10th.
Did Mickey have a vote?
Well, you
You
said.
could at least brought us some cookies or something.
I'd rather do Wednesday than.
I'll do Wednesday.
Okay, so we're doing the 12th and the 25th, or 12th and the 25th.
November 12th, November 25th. When's Thanksgiving?
I believe it's on the 27th.
The 27th.
It's the
Okay.
27th.
So that's fine, 2 days before Thanksgiving.
So
And then.
we're doing next week.
And then we're skipping the first two in December?
Well, not necessarily, it depends if we need Frank.
Yeah? I mean,
If we need to do things, we'll just do them.
we'll miss you.
When you come back?
I'll miss the meeting, I'm come back the 13th.
Okay.
So I'm going for those, so it's 12 days.
It's just 1 week, 1 meeting then, right? So that's-
2 meetings, the second.
Well, if we're gonna meet all those then. I mean, so then the problem is we hit January and we're meeting every week.
Yeah.
So,
Some of them, for me, will be through Zoom.
well, let's say we're meeting on the 16th.
Of December?
Yeah, we're gonna, and Susan, we'll have meetings in the intervening
Yeah.
weeks as needed.
Right.
But we'll meet on the 16th as a board, hopefully
Right.
sign that town meeting warrant. So our next 3 regularly scheduled meetings will be Wednesday, November 12th at 6 PM, Tuesday, November 25th at 6 PM, and then Tuesday, December 16th at 6 PM.
Okay.
And add more as needed.
And it's one of those meetings with the finance committee?
Yeah, I'll reach out to Steve, Roger, and Jack.
Jack, yeah.
Other Roger.
The other Roger.
Might be fine.
Okay, is that it for that? We'll move on to minutes.
Works for me.
I only got to 2 of the sets of minutes,
Which ones?
the first 2.
Before you do that, can I just have one public thing and then
You may.
go home? Because I wasn't here earlier, 2 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago. Just on the dump, transfer station, don't increase the price too much. I really try to see it come out of the taxes. I think it's easier to come out of the taxes.
We're actually going with a decrease in a couple of things.
What?
We're actually going with like $5 for fire extinguishers, but a decrease in some of the appliance costs because we think we can get the Freon taken out and then the device itself doesn't have to be disposed of. So we're working on decreasing that price. Does that make sense?
So it'd be decreasing the taxes. I'm talking about.
No, decreasing the price you have to pay if you drop
It's
off
okay.
a Freon containing.
Yeah, okay, but I'm talking about the whole,
General price.
The
annual-
sticker fee.
the annual
The sticker
fee.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't like to discourage people from going to the dump, and also don't make, and if you can drop the prices on anything else, that's great, because I don't like to see things on the side of the road, and we're doing very well about that. Because people can do it. That's it. I'm on the minutes.
On the first side, I think we should just give the stickers away. Anyway.
Roger says he thinks we should give the stickers away.
Roger says we don't
I
need a
don't like
sticker.
that. I think that's it's perfectly good idea. It encourages people to go to the, they should have a sticker, but you like, give them away. Or make
The
them like-
flip side of that is, I mean, this is a big conversation, but
299.
Yeah.
people people are so wasteful. Like, not everybody, but a shocking number of people are, and they have no compunction, and if it's hidden in
Yes,
their
I do.
taxes,
Yes.
they never make any connection between their habits and the cost. And the cost is gonna keep going up.
That's true, but it goes to the dump, and it doesn't go to the roads.
All right,
Yeah.
let's get into our minutes.
Okay.
September 2nd.
I was just
Thank you,
looking at
Mickey.
yours and I can't tell what if you changed.
I use track changes.
I wonder if it doesn't come through when you preview. Let me try downloading.
Probably when you preview it doesn't, like if it's attached,
Mm-hmm.
it's still in the email.
Oh my God. Okay.
What's that?
It's not, it won't let me open it. I don't have I have to reboot work. It's just giving me a badge.
So
So I can look at mine, but I
I
can't.
added the appointment length when it's valid through, so
Okay.
it can pass with appointment, because it just helps.
Yep.
For clarity.
And did you keep my change in that word?
Yeah, I didn't have
Okay.
any.
You didn't
I
have any,
fixed,
right.
the spelling of Kim Weatherall's name. I said that we will go to town meeting for easement authorization for the Curtis Road Bridge, because we have to do that. We have to.
Oh, I was gonna ask, should we put that on the
Special,
SDM?
yeah, possibly.
What's that? Which one?
easements on the Curtis Road Bridge.
I mean, they have to be ready, right? But I
It's-
don't know who's
You
charged.
can't do it too early, but well, there's a person in the project for Mass DOT, and his whole job is easements. So Roger and I had a brief meeting with him, and basically he'll guide us through the process.
Okay, so do you want to reach out to him and find out if we should have it on our January special town meeting? Or we need to wait to the May annual town meeting?
Well, we have time. I mean, they're not starting for 2 years. I mean, how do you have to-
No, and you want to do it in advance, but not too far, because he said they have had projects that the easements ran out and then they had to pause construction.
Yeah, I think it's what.
Oh,
5
that's
years,
right,
it's
and
like
they're-
5
it's
years,
not
it's
like
a
they're
5
starting
years.
next.
And the easements is not putting stuff on the other properties, usually it's cranes lifting over.
Well, that's what it said.
That's-
Yeah. I'm over your house, you know.
Okay.
That change, I didn't remember specifying an amount for, that we were gonna pay Kim Weatherall for the, as
I
a
think
consultant.
we mentioned it, yeah.
I just said that we approved paying. I didn't remember. The 1,500 was weird, like, is that a lump sum? We still paid her hourly.
I think that was at the time that she had that due. I think that's, in the conversation,
Oh,
it was just
well-
like, we're paying her $1,500 this time.
It was hourly. It's misleading to me, because it seems like we're paying her a lump sum consultant fee when in reality we paid her an hourly rate. And I don't recall what the hourly rate was, but it was reasonable. Drawing things and added 2 documents, and that's basically. Anything else from you, Frank? All right. Any questions from you, Susan? Were you able to see my things or no?
I wasn't,
Okay.
but it's okay. The one thing I had about the firefighters got answered later.
Okay.
Because there was another set of minutes that actually had all our hires in it, so obviously that updated it.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, on that last one.
All right, to approve the September Sharp minutes as amended.
I will second.
We'll call vote.
Yes.
Yes, unanimously approved. Moving on to September 9th.
And kudos to Senor McDonald for getting us caught up, at least on written minutes. Yay. Draft them.
Excellent. Posting.
Yeah, I know, that's my next.
I'm trying to see the track.
I mean, I had like 2 word changes and everything.
Wait, what did I change?
I think there's a word, I can't remember who
Oh,
chose.
documents. Add a document.
Great. Yeah, I
Yeah,
changed a by to a to and a pursue to a consider. Not huge changes.
But also, I'm noticing committee is missing a letter.
Yeah, it should have 2 M's. I didn't notice it.
Where's that, where at?
Lake Garfield Committee under letter to Conservation Commission regarding Lake Garfield drawdown. The second paragraph, almost to the end of the first
Oh,
line.
you saw it in red too.
Letter to conservation.
How do we both notice that at the same
Yeah.
time?
But the thing
Oh,
is, there's
there
so
it is.
many that are
Red,
underlined in red,
yeah.
you start ignoring it. Because they're usually names. I was like, Corzini, whatever. Sandusfield. I mean, it underlines a lot of the Predator. Like, it underlines so many things that you start ignoring it.
All right, motion to approve the September 9th minutes as amended.
I will second.
We'll call vote.
Yes.
Yes, unanimously approved. I'm sorry, I don't have anything else.
I'm sorry,
You got a lot done.
It was a lot all at once.
look at this, the 24th I still have to do. I haven't done that one yet.
Oh, and we didn't meet, we don't have a meeting for the, what was it, the 18th? Hang on a minute.
Yeah, there's one, I think I did send them out for the 18th, didn't I?
The meeting that
No,
we didn't meet?
The 16th, but we didn't meet the 18th because that was the
Oh, I think the 18th is the Concom
Concom
one.
meeting that didn't.
So,
No, it couldn't be because I wouldn't do that.
no,
But
the
maybe
18th,
it did.
the 18th was the Concom meeting that we were at.
It
Thursday.
did. It was
It
a
did.
Thursday, so it did. Okay.
Yeah, because
So
Tuesday.
it's
So it is
Friday, the
So,
26th or something.
yeah.
Right, that isn't, right,
So
okay.
that's the one I have to do because I have to go through and essentially parse out all of just your
It's a
conversations.
lot, right,
Your
yeah.
stuff from what they were saying. Because they were talking a lot. And there weren't a lot of questions from the board.
Well, we were only each given 3 minutes to talk, so.
That was a different meeting.
Some didn't get 3 minutes.
Wait, what do you mean that was?
No, that is.
That was.
that
Oh,
was
that,
a
oh, that one,
meeting.
oh, that was a
Yeah.
3-minute meeting?
Yeah.
Because there was the other Concom meeting too, where they came here, it was on like a Monday. Was there one of those two? I gotta go back. and look at
No,
my
because it
notes.
was,
I gotta go through and look at my notes, because there was a meeting where there
oh,
was.
no, that was Lake Garfield group. We
Oh,
did those,
that's
we did
right.
that, that's fine.
That's right. That's right. That was Lake Garfield. Yes. You're right.
Okay.
Too many meetings in that 2-week period.
I know, it was a
3
lot.
5 meetings. And you
All
enjoying
right.
yourself, spending a little more time with your son.
Yeah.
Good, I'm glad I could help.
Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Why are you turning around and stacking stick cards?
It's just fidget, you remember those old fidget tools, those little fidget things that they had?
Okay.
All right,
That's just.
did we vote, we'll vote on the motion to adjourn?
So, yes.
And yes, so the motion carries, meeting adjourned at 8:03 PM. What's that?